Hello, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. This is very scary but very exciting. I am making a video about how to set up a tandem save file in The Sims 4. Now, tandem is a name that I use for my gameplay. It might not be what works for you, but this video has come highly requested because I posted a TikTok about the way that I play The Sims and people wanted to know more. A lot of people also play like this. I've always played like this. It's really good fun. It is very similar to rotational. You can still call it rotational, call it what you want. It's absolutely fine. But basically, a tandem gameplay relies on two things. It requires, first of all, playing with your character individually, controlling their POV, developing them as an individual. And then the second element is bringing all of your characters together in a group and playing with them all at the same time, essentially. So that lots of drama unfolds, you have loads of fun, and I always describe this gameplay as like watching your own soap opera. It's really, really fun, and I would recommend it to everyone. It's just essentially going a little step further than rotational. So I'm going to show you how to set up a tandem save file from the very beginning. It's going to be very basic, and if you have any more questions, then I'm always happy to answer them. And I hope that I inspire you to try playing tandem, because honestly, it is such a ride, and I know that a lot of Sims 4 players will really enjoy this. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. So I'm going to show you how I start, and it's a lot of admin, but it really is worth it. So these are my characters that I play tandem with. Well, it's the majority of them. These four, if you follow me on TikTok, you will know all about their journeys, and I am hoping to start filming my actual gameplay as well and upload it on here. So we've got Bo, Jessie, Penny, and Matty. They're the four main characters that I play with, and then I just add other characters to the household when I want to play with them. So first of all, I want you to start a new game. I can't stress that enough. Please don't try and set up tandem in a save file that you already love. Like, it will just upset you if it all goes wrong. So just quickly randomize everything, get out of CAS as quick as you can on the setup, and we want to go to the world and we want to choose what world we want to play in. I think committing to a world is the best thing you can do. If you try and play too open and kind of filling up all of the worlds, then you're just entering into something completely different, which is like having your own, huge save file, which is amazing, but that's not what this video is for. It's not how I play. This is just about setting up tandem, which is playing closely and setting up stories with like an interconnected group of people. So I think good world building starts from picking a location, picking a vibe, and going with it. So I'm going to use the kind of ranch expansion that I used my other file, because obviously it's the best way I'm going to be able to explain it, and then I can dip in and out of the actual files. So you're going to open up a world and just see what lots you have available. It depends how in depth you want to go and what world you're in, because obviously a world like Windenburg is really big and has a lot of these are empty. I actually kept the Grove family in my other one, but essentially, like we're in anywhere else, we're just going to evict the households because it just gives you a nice way to start. So you're going to evict all the households. You can also, again, you can go crazy and customize all of these lots. You can add different things. You can add a bowling alley, a cinema, a school kind of vibe. I know it won't obviously work if it's not in Copperdale. You can change the vacation rentals to be another house. Again, it just depends how many characters you want to do. So you're then going to choose your characters, essentially. So we made Gideon and his wife, who was called Savannah. I then killed her off, which was part of gameplay. I didn't do it intentionally, but you can do things like that for storyline purposes, like using MC Command Center. So I made Gideon and his wife Savannah. They then had Matty, who is one of the characters that I play with, and they have two horses. They have Junebug, Junie Girl, and then Savvy, who was named after Savannah, who's a foal, a puppy horse, as I like to call them. So that's the first time, and they just live in this custom, not custom, sorry, the EA pre-built house. All of these houses I've not built. I don't like building. It's not for me. I like to decorate. Um, and then I have the Rivers family here. I feel like I just need to take a sec to just explain characters as well. So obviously I'm kind of just whizzing through my characters, but what you do need to do is sit down and think what kind of vibes you want and then set up your characters from there. So I knew that I wanted to play with like a horsey girl because I rarely do horse gameplay in The Sims. It's just not really something I've ever enjoyed or fully like dabbled in, but since playing in this save file, I've absolutely loved the horses. I love switching to first person perspective and riding my horse around. The world is really beautiful. The cast is actually really great. The vibes have just been immaculate. So I knew I wanted that to be my primary focus. And then I knew that I wanted the families to be connected through the past, if that makes sense, but based on these kind of like ranch type things. So obviously, with a horse ranch vibe, I knew that there needed to be a sheriff. So that's where I got the sheriff character and then his family. And I knew that I wanted the sheriff to have sons that were like bad boy vibes because it's just ironic. You've just got to have a little bit of fun, use some cliches, use current media. I've made a video on this before on TikTok about how I use things like Pinterest, I use films. So the Hannah Montana movie was like massively inspirational for this save file. Anything that just gives you a bit of aesthetic inspiration or story inspiration, character inspiration, nothing that we're going to copy, but just that we can take the vibes from. Anyway, so I then have Gordon Rivers, who is the town sheriff, and his sons. So we have Geordie Rivers, who is like an older teen, and his brother Beau, who is one of my other main characters. So as I said before, I have four main characters that I play with. So I've showed you so far Matty and Beau. They are two that I mainly play with. My third one in this little neighborhood as well is Jesse, who is part of the Blackwell family, and I've just realised his dad is not wearing his clothes in his little icon down there. But again, in a ranch style gameplay, I thought we need to have someone who comes from money. Yeah, we need a character whose parents are rich, whose parents are everything, and then, a classic torn into Troy Bolton style character. So that's exactly who Jesse is to me. So we have Sterling, his dad, and Elena, his mum, and his sister, Lottie, who I adore. And when you play Tandem, be prepared that you're going to fall in love with characters that are not supposed to be your main characters, and you're going to end up wanting to set up a separate save just so you can play with them. That is exactly what happened with Lottie for me. She like loves DJing, she loves dancing, like she's just such a vibe. And then Jessie, who is the main character. So Jessie's parents were friends with Matty's parents. And again, this I kind of always had an idea of that was how my game was going to go, but I also like created these things through gameplay. So a lot of stuff I do cheat to set it up at the beginning, but stuff like this did evolve naturally. So yeah, so I've showed you those three main characters, and then finally we have Penny Albright, who is my other main character. So she's the fourth. And obviously, again, when I first started playing with Penny, she was a child and she lived with her grandma. Her grandma died and now she lives alone. Her house has kind of become like the party house. The Rivers household and Clem's household over here that we're coming to, and the pool I downloaded off the gallery. So also that is a really good way to put in slightly custom lots. So this is the Bowers. This is like a different save file than my main one because obviously I don't want to give too many spoilers away. So all of Clem's siblings have like aged up and are misbehaving and just wearing like the wrong clothes, which is totally fine. But in my actual save file, like most of these are children and toddlers slash infants. So none of them are in there close, so ignore that. But Clem is basically like a side character. I still might go and play with her sometimes, but she is basically Beau's girlfriend, and she comes from a really big family. So we've got Janine, her mum, Eddie, her dad, her sister Tara, and then her younger siblings Annie, Mickey, and Gracie Jane. They're like a really big, chaotic family, and yeah, I don't want to call Clem a device point because she's not, and I do really love her. And like I said, I do sometimes get carried away with like playing in her story, but she is just an additional character that is used for, like, I don't know, just to make the world feel more like vast and real, and that my main characters have, you know, these other people that they engage with and they're friends with. So she is best friends with Penny, who lives over here, and she is Beau's girlfriend. So they're all in like one big group of friends, basically. And obviously Beau is cheating on Clem with Penny, and Penny is having his baby, but that's not what this explanation video is about. I then sometimes do try and fill up the world a little bit, so I just have, again, these lot were all children in my actual save file, but I just add like ranch looking families around the place. And then my other side character, I feel awful calling them that, but they are, again, misbehaving in the wrong cast, is the Holding family. So we have Amy, who is Jesse's girlfriend, and she is also a horse rider. And this is her dad, Samuel, and her mum. I've just realised they have different last names. So this is really bad that I can't remember my own gameplay, but if I remember rightly, Amy has a different dad. So Samuel is not her dad, but Alison is her mum. So Alison took Samuel's last name. Anyway, it's not really the point. But yeah, this is Amy, and she is Beau's girlfriend. Again, is in the group of friends. So I have 6/7 because sometimes Lottie, Jesse's sister, tags along to things, and they all hang out together. So yeah, spend time in cast, flesh out their families. It honestly takes like, it can take like weeks to do that, and to get inspiration and things. So don't rush it. Sometimes I might like play with them for a bit and then think, I think their lore would be better if they had, you know, a younger sibling, an older sibling, whatever, and then you can cheat them into the save file by literally just, you know, manage household and edit, add, whatever. So yeah, so I have been known to do that. So the next stage is to, I actually think the Blackwells are going to be maybe the best way to show this. But I do know for a fact that in this version of the save, Jesse's parents constantly have crab lice. So every time I load in, they're both uncomfortable with crab lice. But basically, what you're going to do, because obviously we don't care about their families as much, we don't want to, you know, play with every single family member every single time, but we want them to feel real. We want them to have real jobs, real skills, real hobbies. We want their dynamics to be a certain way. Because essentially this means that the interactions when you're playing just make more sense. So, for example, if you like make a family dynamic difficult, they're going to have better interactions that flesh out your gameplay in a more fun way, as opposed to like leaving them blank. See, I told you, intense itching. MC Command Center, MC Cheats, Cheat Sim Info, Skill Cheats, set skills to level. So maybe it might be something you want her to have a little bit of, like flower arranging, gardening. Obviously, as an adult, it's more believable that they have handiness, that they have more developed skills, logic, and you'll press like, maybe let's go with an 8. And there we go. So she now has like basically a more fleshed out personality, like she makes more sense. And his dad doesn't like dancing. That's fine. Another thing I always say is just to say yes to a lot of things in this. Like, let your Sims decide. Obviously, if it doesn't make sense for their character, that's fine. But yeah, let them decide. So if we want to edit relationships, so for example, they have a pretty good relationship, but if I wanted them to maybe be going through like a rough patch or maybe getting a divorce and then, that's affecting Jessie, our main character, or if I was setting up this save file and I wanted it to be that, we were starting out and his family was getting a divorce and that's why he, like, I don't know, does whatever he does. I don't know. You can just click divorce. I'm not going to do that. Or you can set active relationship levels, set active romantic, and you can just select any of these options. So if you want them to be like really in love, press true lovers, and their romance bar, ooh, can't speak. Their romance bar will go right up. There's just so many things you can do with MC Command Center. So why does, oh no, I think it's because I'm just on romantic. But yeah, as you can see, this is Jess's girlfriend, Amy. I didn't cheat these things. This is just what they have. Oh, they're resentful about no prom invite. Okay. And then Matty. So as you can see, he is very attracted to Matty. And they're best friends and they're neighbours. However, Matty's romantic feelings about Jessie are unknown, but I know for a fact that she is unattracted to him, and that is just from Love Struck. So again, like, if the game tells you something and it's interesting, listen to it, because I just have interpreted that as unrequited love, essentially. And their friendship bar is like really high. So playing tandem, let's say that, today I've chose to play with Jessie. It's 5:48 and he will have school today because it's a Monday. His needs are all pretty good right now, but I know that Jessie is like a sports person, so I'm gonna go travel and take him to the gym or something, do something fun like that. So I'll basically play with him for maybe a day, maybe not even. I just see how I'm feeling. I'll play with one character. I think I might have deleted the gym from this world. So what I like to do is pick Oasis Springs because it's like similar terrain to the ranch pack. I'll take him to the gym, do his school day. I might, go on a date with Amy, his girlfriend. I might go around to Matty's house. I'll see what happens, see if anyone turns up at his house. And I'll basically just play it like that and just have fun with it until I'm not having fun with it. And then say that it's someone's birthday or it's Halloween or it's prom. I will then add all of my characters into a household together. You can use the control any sim mod, but I don't have that because it broke when I was playing with it a long time ago and I just never played with it again. So I'm gonna get him to work out. He has fitness level 4 and dancing level 5, and then I think his singing, singing is 8. So like I said before, he's like our Troy Bolton guy. So he's gonna be doing the gym. He's gonna be singing. I obviously had to build up for him to have these skills. And that's how I play it. And then he'll go to school. So let's manage worlds. So now I'm going to show you the bit that I think confuses everyone and explain why this is the tandem element. So like I said, tandem means two, and this gameplay requires two things. So it requires, number one, well, it requires a lot of things, but this is how I explain it. So number one is playing with your characters individually in their own lives. It's their POV. For example, I was just with Jessie and he was going to the gym. Okay, very boring example, but that's what we're working with. We're going to now pretend maybe everyone's bunking off school, it's a hot day, and they're going to go out somewhere. So I tend to do this with Penny because obviously she lives alone, so it's very easy. If not, you can just create another household and just add them all to that. I'm going to manage households. I'm going to transfer Sims between households. I'm basically going to grab all of her friends from the world. We'll put Jessie in there. Lottie can come. We're going to select tick. Okay, it's fine. We're going to do it again. There is also like more effective ways of doing this, but this I've always felt is the safest option for me. I did this once using MC Command Center and accidentally deleted a character, and I fear I never recovered. We're going to put Clem in here. And again, like if I didn't want everyone to come, maybe that's the law. Maybe, you know, Beau's not been invited because he's been annoying Clem, whatever. You don't have to do it for everyone. It depends, you know, who you fancy seeing, who you fancy hanging out with that day. And it just means I can control all of them whilst they're together at the same time. You don't always have to do this. I'm going to show you another way that I get them all together in a minute, but this is essentially the tandem element because I get them all together and I control them at the same time, and it is pure chaos. And I just like to see kind of what goes down. So obviously I've explained before that Beau is cheating on Clem with Penny, but she still like hasn't found out because when they're all together, Beau like doesn't interact with Penny in a romantic way, like, which is just so fascinating to me because they do have a romance bar. And obviously I play with them, just those two. And let me tell you, they ain't just friends. So it's probably I'm gonna load in and they're all gonna be like, right, we're going to school now. But yeah, I'll then go and play, load in, do whatever I want to do, go to a party, go to the lake, go to the cinema, go bowling, go to a restaurant, have a house party, go for a picnic, whatever you want to do with your Sims. So obviously my favorite thing to do with these teens is to throw like parties and to get really drunk, and I have base mental installed as well, so we also do a bit of that. We'll now just live in one household and that's fine, and then you'll see things just start popping up and they start interacting with each other, and it might just, you know, give you some drama, give you some fun things. They also might just dance. That happens a lot. Oh no. So see, so Beau is very uncomfortable because he has a fear of disappointing parents, which again is so true for his law. I'm not going to show you the other way that I get them all together as a group, but maybe if I'm like fancying letting them have a bit more free will and, you know, maybe I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and don't want to play with every single character all at once. And the best way to do that is the group system. You will need the get together expansion pack for that, which is a great expansion pack in my opinion, but this is one of my favorite features. I do this all the time, all kinds of gameplay. It's just a really good way to get your Sims to hang out with each other and to like not disappear basically, because I do kind of have beef with like the party system. Should Matty skip school? Yeah, I really should have shown you this at a later time, and actually her friends might not show up because they might be at school. Start gathering. No, it's fine. She's shouting forbidden words. Oh no. And her grades are down. It's fine. But yeah, essentially, look, now all of her friends are turning up at her house and they're all going to be together and they can all interact without me having to control them all. But again, fun things still happen. So characters will do things. I mean, Clem is just going upstairs to use the computer, but usually I'll take them somewhere else and then they'll interact in that way. So yeah, this is another really good way of doing that. Obviously, this is a school day, so I think that's why some of them haven't turned up. Actually, most of them haven't turned up. And Clem is in the bath. What the hell? Okay, girl. Knock yourself out, why don't you? Look at that. She just came around and got in the bath. Literally classic Sims behaviour. That's fine. But yeah, that's another fun way of doing it basically. So I think I've showed you everything that I wanted to. You play with them as individuals and you then bring them together. I know people have asked me about other cheats that I do, but I feel like that can be saved for another video because this is just how I set it up, how I do certain cheats, and essentially how I play and how I switch. So why I feel that it is slightly different from rotational. I just think it's like an add-on to rotational, a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more in depth. All of my characters have full-fledged traits, personalities, skills, jobs, side hustles, hobbies, pets, friends, family. Um, yeah. Oh, she has a future cube. So random. Thank you so much if you made it this far and for staying, and I hope you learn a little bit about playing Tandem because it is really fun. I hope you try it. Let me know if you try it. Also, let me know if you already play this way because in my opinion it is the elite gameplay. I know this video is kind of boring, like I'm trying not to give away anything that's actually really happening in my save file that has not already been revealed, so I've played with a different version of my game. So I know I didn't really show you anything massively interesting. I was trying to just keep it to the basics of how you can set it up without it being really daunting and without needing loads of mods. Obviously, I do really think you need MC Command Center because that helps to cheat skills and jobs and things like that, and relationships importantly. But I have played this way since I was like 10. Where I just used to micromanage everyone, so it's not essential, but I think it helps you bypass a lot of the more boring side characters that I required just for additional lore. So thank you so much for being here. I am totally new to YouTube, so please do like and subscribe. I'm also on TikTok and Twitch. I'm Astrology Sims on everything, so yeah, come say hi, and thank you so much for being here. Bye.